Hello, fellow Devil Fruit users. Logan Master 666 here, and it's been a while since my last video, but you'll have to excuse me. I'm recording in my goddamn kitchen, so uh, it's very limited how often I can record. I'm still trying to work that out, get a job, get a webcam, get a laptop, etc., so I can record at a more convenient place and time. But anyhow, this is going to be a topic that's been said a billion times, and I'm sure it's been overdone. I haven't seen many videos on it, but I feel like it could be addressed still for the people who don't really consider the possibility. And more importantly, I'm not just going to talk about the possibility, but also what happens afterward. Now, this video, of course, from the title, if you can read, will be, Is Sabo truly alive? Now, for those of you who don't remember, I shouldn't even bother explaining who Sabo is, because if you don't know who he is, you're not caught up. If you're not caught up, just don't watch this video. Anyway, is Sabo truly alive? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Yes, I believe he's truly alive. Now, let's go into the details. There are many, many reasons why I believe, personally, that he is still alive. The first of which is, of course, the least important, but I'm going to address it now and get it out of the way. I like to make the comparison between him and Obito. Now, I know that's already going to cause a red flag in your head, but don't worry. I'm going to address the issue and calm it down a bit. Now, whenever Toby, his identity was still a mystery, I told people, it's Obito. And no, it wasn't just because of his name. That was one of the main factors. But I actually used my brain and realized, hello, he's one of the few people, along with Kakashi, who can use dimensional jutsus that just so happen to stem from the eye. And what do you know? There's Toby, and then the arc before that, there's Obito. Now, that's one of the reasons why I believe that I'll be right in this case. Now, let me go into the actual details so I don't just sound like a fucking retard who just believes he's right because he was right once. Now, I hate to make the comparison because a lot of people think it was a stupid mistake for Toby to be revealed as Obito, and for the most part I can agree, but I'm going to have to make the comparison. Now, what is one of the main reasons that I realized that Toby was Obito? We have the Sasuke retrieval arc, and then of course, they fail to rescue Sasuke, and then it ends. That's part 1, and then before part 2 begins, right in the manga, what did they add? The Kakashi Gaiden arc. Now, a lot of people always said, well, it's not for Obito, it's because we needed that Kakashi stuff. We could have gotten Kakashi flashbacks in Shippuden, or in part 1. It could have been before or later. It didn't have to be smack dab there. So why was it? Because guess who shows up in the very first arc after that? Obito. Well, Toby. So basically, Kishi was like, shit, I gotta put this Obito thing in, because he's been planning who Toby was from the get-go. I believe the same situation is with Sabo. Why was he put in the post-war arc? Now, a lot of people will like to say, well, Logia Master 666, if you think about it logically, Luffy lost what was considered to him his brother, Ace, and Sabo was like a brother to them as well. They already had to go through the emotions of losing Sabo, and then Luffy basically never wanted to lose more people, and he had to relive that. The moment when they ended that post-war arc and brought back to showing Luffy's sad face, that's when it hit me, when I was like, wow. And then I thought about it. What if he was truly alive? They showed him here, of all times, not because Ace died and they wanted to reiterate Sabo, basically. They did it because Sabo was going to be shown alive soon. And they had to have this Sabo part, obviously, before he came back to life. Do you understand? Now, one of the reasons I believe it is alive is One Piece episode, and I don't remember what manga chapter because I was watching the anime. I forgot what episode, 504, I think, but it's when the Revolutionary Army, I'm sure everyone's heard this piece of information, the Revolutionary Army shows up, and Ivankov is like, where have you been? And Dragon's like, I was saving someone. And they're talking about this person who has some severe injuries, and the only person who was really injured at that ceremony was, of course, Sabo. Now, why didn't they just show him then and there? I don't know. I really wish they hadn't shown that scene at all, just to make it less obvious, you understand? Now, let me go into the whole... Before I go into... actually, I should probably continue where I was going. Why do I believe Sabo is alive, and more importantly, why do I believe he'll be coming back this arc, or this saga, the Pirate Alliance saga. I don't know for sure if he'll be coming in Dressrosa, but I honestly do believe he will be. Now, it all stems around the Mera Mera no Mi, Ace's Devil Fruit. Ace dies in one saga. Okay, Fishman Island is that break saga that it's basically kind of like Skypiea, where it has minimal to do with the actual plot as far as the Marines and the Yonko. The only really relevance that it has is the Poneglyph. In Skypiea, they go up to the sky. How much does it have to do with Gold Roger, the Marines, the One Piece? Absolutely jack shit, until they reach the Poneglyph. Fishman Island, does any of that shit matter other than Jinbei, of course? To an extent, yes, there's bits of information, but generally it's a side trip of sorts. The Poneglyph being the only real importance with Joy Boy. So this would be the very first arc where stuff happens. Ace dies, Fishman Island, which, like I said, is a side trip, Pirate Alliance saga. So basically, plot-wise, they're connected. So Sabo is probably going to be in this arc with the Mera Mera no Mi. It's not a coincidence that the very first arc that's not a side trip has Ace's Devil Fruit. There's a reason why they did it now instead of 3 or 4 years from now, our time speaking, of course. I believe that Sabo is going to be alive. I don't know if he's going to be an antagonist or not. And Luffy's going to win the Mera Mera no Mi. Of course he's going to win. He's not going to eat it because he already has a Devil Fruit. He's not going to survive that. Marshall D. Teach, of course, Blackbeard did, and it's sort of implied because he's a fat fuck, but I don't know the real reason. I'm sure it has to do with the Yami Yami no Mi. After all, it is considered a Logia, yet it's very different in the fact that the best part about a Logia is not there. Anyway, so he's going to win the Mera Mera no Mi. He's not going to give it to Sanji or Zora. Those people don't need Devil Fruits. And giving an OP Logia Devil Fruit, keep in mind, there's no Straw Hat that's a fucking Logia. Giving a Logia Devil Fruit to people like Usopp or Nami, not happening. A new Straw Hat? Maybe. Maybe he'll make a bond with Rebecca and she'll be a Straw Hat, unfortunately. But I don't like the idea of a weak person joining an awesome crew and then getting an OP Devil Fruit from an OP person who died. I don't dig that. But what I think is actually going to happen is he's going to give it to the one person. I dare you, name one person in the entire One Piece universe, dead or alive, that Luffy would actually give this treasured fruit to. Sabo. Who else would he give it to? He would be like, Sabo, I can't eat it. This is our brother. This is Ace. Here you go. Will he join the crew after that? I don't know. That would be awesome. We do need a Logia in the crew, even though that'd be OP as fuck. Now, a lot of people, I know I should have addressed this issue like at the beginning of the video, and for those of you who are still stuck here and shaking your head like, really? You're probably thinking, but Logia Master, Oda is a good writer. He's not a bullshit writer like Kishi. He's not going to pull that Toby, Obito, Sabo crap. He's not going to because he's not shitty like Kishi. Understand. The problem with Toby being Obito was not that Toby was Obito. The problem was that really Obito was Toby. Obito died and became this evil person for reasons that were considered bullshit. Now, I see two courses with Sabo. Either he does become an antagonist like Toby, and it would only be bullshit if the reasons for him being an antagonist were bullshit. Oda can come up with something that works. And the other option is if he doesn't become an antagonist. If he's a good guy, then it doesn't matter the reason why he wants to do what he wants to do. He survived. The reason why people hate Toby being Obito, aside from the fact that they didn't like how obvious it was simply because they didn't like what happened with Obito. They didn't see a real justification for the things he was doing. Now, the Dressrosa arc, the way I see how it's going to play out is, with the Pirate Alliance saga, we had Punk Hazard, where Luffy beat Caesar Clown, and Caesar Clown worked under Joker, aka Doflamingo. I believe Doflamingo's going down in this arc, Dressrosa, and the very arc afterward would be what I believe to be the last arc of the Pirate Alliance saga, because if I remember correctly, Doflamingo works under Kaido, the Yonko, of course. Now, I've heard theories that with this whole zoanthrope modified devil fruits that he's basically going to mind control them, very similar to what was being done with the Candy and Punk Hazard by Caesar Clown, and overthrow Kaido. That's another story for another day. Which reminds me, a lot of people theorize because they look similar that Doflamingo may be Sabo. The age doesn't really match up, but hey, it didn't match up with Toby either, with the whole Zetsu thing. But I don't mean to compare an amazing writer to a pretty good writer in my opinion. That would be Kishi. But that's my theory on Sabo. I believe he's alive. If you don't believe he's alive, you could be right. But you have to look at the facts. You have to... Don't be biased. I'm not biased. I looked at the information, I looked at the evidence, and made a judgment, a hypothesis. So, if you're still unconvinced, let me just recap for you. The Revolutionary Army found a person, the only person who could have been injured at that ceremony when the Celestial Dragons came. The Revolutionary Army are very secretive. There's only a handful of information known about them. You know a shitload about the Marines, a fair amount about the Yonko, etc., but and the Shichibukai as well, but you only know so much about the Revolutionary Army. So, secretive, hide his identity, all that other shit. Then you've got the fact that Oda put that smack dab in the middle of the place, specifically for his return, the next arc, which of course wouldn't really be the next arc because it's Fishman Island, but if you take that arc and separate it as though it's not part of the main storyline, it is really, but it's not addressing the main issues up on the surface. The Whitebeard War arc with the post-war Sabo thing and the Pirate Alliance saga are connected. Of course, you've got Punk Hazard in the middle, and this is assuming Sabo will even be revealed in Dressrosa, but you've got that, and on top of the Mera Maranomi of all things coming here, and the final bit, who else would he give it to? I mean, I can see Oda pulling something weird like it just disappears or whatever. And I have another theory about that before I go. I know this is a long video, but I'm really appreciative that you stuck with it if you are. The Mera Maranomi. Now, the announcer or whatever guy said basically that devil fruits, when the user dies, that the fruit just appears. Just wherever. Now, here's the thing. Devil fruits were said pretty much since the beginning of the series that they were rare as fuck. But then every other person has a devil fruit, and it's like, come on. Why can't you just have antagonists that are strong like Zoro and Sanji? They're beasts and they don't have devil fruits. Yet, Crocodile and Eneru and everybody has devil fruits. The hell. Anyway, my point is, devil fruits were said to be rare, but then Oda, of course, made them become more common throughout the Grand Line and the New World. So, are you trying to tell me there's not one instance where a devil fruit user has died, and then someone else took up their devil fruit? Are you telling me that there hasn't been 2 Gura Gura users, or 2... I'm trying to think of another devil fruit user that's died. There's been very few, etc. Okay, let's take a living one. Let's take the Neko enemy that Rob Lucy has. Are you telling me that somebody else didn't eat that fruit and then die? Think of all the devil fruit users out there. Is their devil fruit a new one, or one that came from a previous user? I find it too hard to believe that that thing exists. What I believe happened is, do you remember the Whitebeard War arc, where Blackbeard put that cape over Whitebeard and you didn't get to see how he took his ability? There was a reason for that. Why not show it now, Oda? Why leave us wondering? Because he's trying to fool us. Understand? He didn't just put the thing over, look at Whitebeard, or touch him, and then get his power. He took out his devil fruit and ate it. So they did the same thing to Ace's body, I believe, because it's no coincidence that Jesus Burgess is here under Blackbeard's command. It's no coincidence. They took the Mera Maranomi. Then again, they want to get it themselves, so why didn't they just take it instead of just putting it up for Doflamingo? That's another thing that I have to think about. But in theory, I'm believing that the devil fruit being reborn is bullshit. I believe that this Mera Maranomi exists solely because of the unknown way that Blackbeard is able to take devil fruits. Maybe it's done by other people. Maybe he's working with Doflamingo. This is called the Pirate Alliance saga, after all. Hey, you gotta expect that shit. So that's all for my video. 15 minutes is long enough. Is Sabo alive? I believe so. Thanks for watching. Logia Master 666 here, and I am out.